Echoes of the unknown. The vast expanse of space stretched before Captain Elena Reyes, a tapestry of stars punctuated by the occasional wisp of nebula. From the bridge of the Earth exploration vessel, Stellar Vanguard, she watched as another lifeless planet slowly rotated below. It was their 14th survey in as many weeks, and the mood aboard the ship was growing tense with each fruitless expedition. Another dud, Cap. Lieutenant Zion Almond reported from his station, his voice tinged with disappointment. Atmospheric composition is hostile to life as we know it. Radiation levels are off the charts. Elena nodded, her sharp features set in a mask of determination. Log it and prep for our next jump, Zane. We knew this mission was a long shot when we signed up. As the crew began the familiar routine of readying the ship for its next faster-than-light jump, a piercing alarm cut through the low hum of the bridge. All eyes turned to Communications Officer Yuki Tanaka, whose fingers were flying across her holographic interface. "Captain," Yuki called out, her eyes wide. "I'm picking up a signal. It's not one of ours." The bridge fell silent, the implications of Yuki's words hanging heavy in the air. Humanity had yet to make contact with any extraterrestrial intelligence. If this signal was what they all hoped it might be, history was about to be made. "Put it through, Yuki," Elena ordered, her voice steady despite the adrenaline surging through her veins. The bridge speakers crackled to life, filling the air with a series of complex tones and pulses. It was clearly artificial, carrying a rhythm and repetition that spoke of intelligence behind its creation. "It's a distress call," Dr. Adebayo Okafor, the ship's scannolinguist, announced after a moment of intense concentration. "The structure suggests a plea for help, though the specifics are beyond my current understanding." Elena's mind raced. Protocol dictated they report this finding to Earth Command immediately. But the signal was active, urgent. Whoever, or whatever, was sending it might not have time to wait for a response from Earth. "Helmsman, can you locate the source?" Elena asked. "Yes, Captain," replied Helmsman Raj Patel. "It's coming from a star system about 20 light-years from our current position. We could reach it in 3 jumps, give or take." Elena stood, her decision made. "Plot the course, Raj. Yuki, prepare a message buoy with all the information we have. We'll launch it to Earth Command before we make the first jump." "Captain," Executive Officer Maria Chen interjected, "are you sure about this? We're not exactly equipped for first contact, let alone a potential rescue mission." Elena met her XO's concerned gaze. "No, we're not. But we're explorers, Maria. We've spent years searching for signs of life out here. Now that we've found one, how can we turn our backs?" She addressed the entire bridge crew. "I know this is beyond our original mission parameters. If anyone has strong objections, speak now." The bridge remained silent, a mix of anticipation and resolve on every face. "Very well," Elena nodded. "Prepare for jump sequence. Let's see what's waiting for us out there." As the Stellar Vanguard's engines hummed to life, Elena couldn't shake the feeling that they were about to cross a threshold from which there was no return. Humanity's first steps into a larger galactic community were about to be taken, ready or not. The ship shuddered as it entered jump space, streaks of light engulfing the viewports. In the privacy of her mind, Elena whispered a quiet prayer, not to any god, but to the universe itself. "Let us be equal to whatever challenges lie ahead." Little did she know, the universe had heard, and it was about to answer in ways none of them could have imagined. Shattered skies. The Stellar Vanguard erupted from jump space in a flash of cerulean light, its hull groaning from the strain of 3 consecutive faster-than-light jumps. Captain Elena Reyes steadied herself against her command chair, fighting off a wave of nausea that accompanied their abrupt return to normal space. "Status report," she managed, her voice hoarse. Lieutenant Ahmed's fingers danced across his console. "All systems operational, Captain. Minor stress fractures in the outer hull, but nothing critical." "The signal?" Elena asked, turning to Communications Officer Tanaka. Yuki's face was illuminated by the soft glow of her holographic display. "Still active, Captain. It's coming from the third planet of this system." As if on cue, the main view screen flickered to life, revealing a verdant world suspended in the void. But something was wrong. The planet's upper atmosphere was scarred with brilliant flashes of light, the telltale signs of orbital combat. "My God," whispered XO Chen. "We've jumped right into a war zone." Elena's mind raced. Their ship, while advanced by Earth standards, was an explorer, not a warship. They were woefully unprepared for whatever conflict they had stumbled upon. "Tactical analysis now," Elena barked. The ship's AI, ARIL, Advanced Reconnaissance and Intelligence Assistant, responded immediately. A holographic overlay appeared on the view screen, highlighting two distinct groups of vessels locked in combat. "Two alien fleets detected," ARIO reported, its androgynous voice calm amidst the chaos, designating them Alpha and Beta for clarity. Alpha Fleet matches the signature of the distress call. They appear to be on the defensive, with numerous damaged vessels. Beta Fleet is highly advanced, energy readings off the charts. Elena watched as a ship from the Alpha Fleet, sleek and almost organic in design, erupted in a silent explosion. Her jaw clenched. They had come here to help, and now they were witnessing a massacre. "Options?" she asked, glancing at her senior staff. "We run," Helmsman Potel said bluntly. "We're not equipped for this." XO Chen nodded in agreement. "We should jump back and report to Earth Command. This is way beyond our capabilities." Elena was about to respond when Dr. Okafor's voice cut through the tension. "Wait, I'm receiving a transmission. It's a request to dock." From one of the Alpha ships. "On screen," Elena ordered. The view screen shifted, revealing a being unlike anything they had ever seen. It was vaguely humanoid, with iridescent skin that seemed to ripple like the surface of an opal. Its large, multifaceted eyes blinked rapidly as it spoke, its words translated by the ship's computer. "Unknown vessel, we implore you. We are the Tsar Kali, and we face extinction. Our final refuge lies on the planet below, but we cannot reach it. If you have any compassion, any honor, help us evacuate our young. We will share all we know, all we have. Please, you are our last hope." The bridge fell silent as the transmission ended. Elena felt the weight of history on her shoulders. This was not just first contact, this was a defining moment for humanity. "Captain," Aoria interjected, "Beta Fleet has altered course. They are now approaching our position. Estimated time to weapons range, 3 minutes. Elena stood, her decision made. "Rage, plot an approach vector to the nearest Alpha ship. Zane, divert all non-essential power to shields and engines. Yuki, open a channel to the Tsar Kali vessel." "Elena," XO Chen protested, "this is suicide. We can't." "We can and we will," Elena cut her off. "Humanity's first act on the galactic stage will not be one of cowardice. We came here to help, and that's exactly what we're going to do." As the channel opened, Elena addressed the Tsar Kali. "This is Captain Elena Reyes of the Earth vessel Stellar Vanguard. We hear your plea, and we will assist. Prepare for emergency docking." The Stellar Vanguard surged forward, its engines straining as it raced towards the battered Tsar Kali ship. Behind them, the ominous forms of the Beta Fleet grew larger. "Beta Fleet firing," Zane shouted. "Evasive maneuvers," Elena commanded. The ship bucked and weaved, narrowly avoiding searing beams of energy that cut through space around them. As they closed in on the Tsar Kali vessel, Elena realized that this was more than a rescue mission. It was humanity's baptism by fire in a universe far more complex and dangerous than they had ever imagined. With a bone-jarring thud, the two ships connected. Alarms blared as the airlock sensors registered an alien atmosphere. "Prepare for emergency evacuation protocols," Elena ordered. "Let's show these Tsar Kali what humanity is made of." As her crew rushed to assist their new alien allies, Elena allowed herself a moment of grim satisfaction. They had come seeking new life among the stars. Instead, they had found a war. But if this was to be humanity's introduction to the galactic community, she was determined to make it one that would be remembered. The real challenge, she knew, was just beginning. The quantum quandary. The stellar vanguard shuddered as another volley from the Beta Fleet's weapons grazed its shields. Inside, chaos reigned as the human crew worked frantically to evacuate the Zarkali refugees. Captain Elena Reyes stood at the airlock, helping the iridescent aliens board her ship, their multifaceted eyes wide with fear and gratitude. "Last group, Captain," shouted Lieutenant Ahmed, of a cacophony of alarms and voices. As the final Zarkali stumbled through the airlock, a blinding flash of light engulfed the ship. For a moment, Elena thought they'd been hit, but as the light faded, she realized something far stranger had occurred. The stars outside the viewports had changed. "Status report," Elena demanded, rushing back to the bridge. "Captain, you're not going to believe this," Helmsman Pertel said, his voice trembling. We're no longer in the same galaxy." A stunned silence fell over the bridge. The viewscreen showed an alien sky filled with unfamiliar constellations and a haunting, spiral-armed galaxy where their own Milky Way should have been. That's impossible," Xo Chen whispered. But before anyone could process this revelation, a new voice spoke, not from any of the crew, but seemingly from the air itself. "Congratulations, Seekers, you have passed a first trial." The bridge crew spun around, searching for the source of the voice. A shimmering figure materialized in the center of the room, a being of pure energy, constantly shifting and reforming. What are you?" Elena managed to ask, her hand instinctively reaching for her sidearm. The being's form rippled with what might have been amusement. "I am the curator, keeper of the cosmic crucible. Your species has been chosen to participate in a test as old as the universe itself." Dr. Okafor stepped forward, his scientific curiosity overcoming his fear. "A test? What kind of test?" The curator's form expanded, enveloping the entire bridge in a field of shimmering energy. Suddenly, the crew found themselves standing on what appeared to be a vast chessboard floating in space, with the stellar vanguard and the rescued Zarkali as pieces on one side. "For eons, we have watched young species emerge into the galactic community," the curator explained. "Those with the potential for greatness are brought here, to the crucible, to be tested. Your choices, your actions will determine not only your fate, but the fate of your entire species." Elena's mind reeled. The battle, the Zarkali, it was all a setup. "A scenario," the curator corrected, "designed to test your reactions, your morality, your potential. You chose compassion over self-preservation. Interesting, but not wholly unexpected from your kind." The chessboard shifted, and new pieces appeared on the opposite side, grotesque, writhing forms that hurt the eye to look upon. "These are the Void Hunters," the curator announced. "Another young species, but one that chose a different path. They too are part of the test." Elena felt a chill run down her spine. "What exactly do you want from us?" The curator's form pulsed with an intensity that made everyone squint. "To play the game, of course. The Crucible is a multidimensional battleground where species compete for the right to ascend." "Ascend to what?" Dr. Okafor asked. "To join us," the curator replied simply. "To become beings of pure energy and thought, custodians of the cosmos." Elena looked at her crew, at the terrified Zarkali huddled behind them, and then at the monstrous Void Hunters across the board. The weight of an entire species' future pressed down on her shoulders. "And if we refuse to play your game?" she asked defiantly. The curator's form darkened ominously. "Then you forfeit. Your species will be deemed unworthy, and the Void Hunters will be unleashed upon your galaxy. The choice, as always, is yours." Elena's mind raced. They were unprepared, outgunned, and now thrust into a cosmic game they didn't understand. But as she looked at her crew, humans who had ventured into the unknown, who had chosen to help strangers even at great risk to themselves. She felt a surge of pride and determination. "We'll play your game, curator," Elena declared, her voice steady. "But we'll do it our way. Humanity didn't come this far to be pawns in someone else's chess match." The curator's form flickered with what might have been surprise. "Oh, and how do you intend to proceed, little human?" Elena smiled grimly. "By changing the rules. You brought us here to test our potential. Well, get ready. We're about to show you what humanity is truly capable of." As if in response to her words, the chessboard beneath their feet began to warp and shift. The stellar vanguard systems came to life with newfound energy, interfaces blinking with information about this strange new reality they found themselves in. The game was on, and humanity's first move was about to shake the very foundations of the cosmic crucible, the symphony of consciousness. As Captain Elena Reyes declared humanity's intention to change the rules of the cosmic crucible, a peculiar vibration began to emanate from the stellar vanguard. It started as a low hum, barely perceptible, but quickly grew into a complex melody that seemed to resonate with the very fabric of space-time around them. The curator's energy form flickered erratically. What is this? This isn't part of the test." Dr. Adebayo Okafor's eyes widened in realization. "Captain, it's the ship. Somehow, our presence in this dimension is causing it to evolve." Before their astonished eyes, the stellar vanguard began to transform. Its hull shimmered and flowed like quicksilver, reshaping itself into an intricate, fractal pattern. The bridge expanded, merging with the rest of the ship, until the entire crew found themselves standing within a vast, translucent sphere. "It's responding to our thoughts," Lieutenant Zain Almd gasped, as holographic interfaces sprang to life around him, displaying information in ways he had never imagined possible. Elena felt it too, a connection to the ship, to her crew, and strangely, to the cosmic game board itself. It was as if the stellar vanguard had become an extension of their collective consciousness. The curator's form stabilized, a note of uncertainty in its voice. This is unprecedented. Your vessel appears to have tapped into the underlying quantum framework of the crucible." "Not just the ship," Elena replied, a smile playing on her lips. "All of us. We're rewriting the rules of your game, curator. Humanity doesn't just adapt to new environments, we transform them." As if in response to her words, the cosmic chessboard began to ripple and shift. The clear distinction between their side and the void hunters blurred, the pieces starting to intermingle in complex, ever-changing patterns. Yuki Tanaka, who had been silent until now, suddenly spoke up. "Captain, I'm receiving music. No, it's more than that. It's like the language of the universe itself." The melody that had started with the ship's transformation had grown into a grand symphony, with every particle and wave in the crucible contributing its own unique note. The crew of the stellar vanguard found they could understand this cosmic song, and more incredibly, they could add their own melodies to it. "Don't you see, curator?" Elena said, her voice resonating with newfound power. "Your test is flawed. You can't measure the potential of a species through conflict alone. We're showing you a new way: cooperation, harmony, creation." The void hunters, previously poised for attack, seemed to hesitate. Their writhing forms began to move in rhythm with the cosmic symphony, their aggressive stance softening. Dr. Okafor's eyes lit up with excitement. "Captain, I think I understand. This music, this harmony, it's a universal language of consciousness. We're not just communicating with the ship or the crucible, we're communing with the very essence of reality." Elena nodded, feeling the truth of his words resonate through her entire being. She turned to address not just the curator, but the entire crucible itself. "We reject your game of conquest and destruction," she declared. "Instead, we offer a new paradigm, a symphony of consciousness where every being, every particle, contributes to the grand composition of the cosmos." As she spoke, the crew of the stellar vanguard began to change. Their physical forms blurred, merging with the ship and the energy of the crucible itself. Yet somehow, they retained their individual identities, their human essence. The curator's form pulsed with a mix of confusion and awe. This is not ascension as we understood it. You're not simply becoming energy beings, you're becoming one with the universe. Elena finished, her voice now a harmony of countless tones. Not by escaping our physical forms, but by embracing them as instruments in the cosmic orchestra. The Void Hunters, too, were transforming. Their terrifying appearance melted away, revealing beings of light and sound that began to harmonize with the humans and the Zarkali. The cosmic chessboard dissolved entirely, replaced by a swirling, ever-changing mandala of energy and consciousness. The boundaries between species, between organic and inorganic, between thought and reality, all began to blur. You asked us to play your game, curator. Elena's voice rang out, now indistinguishable from the cosmic symphony itself. But instead, we've composed a new one. A game where there are no winners or losers, only an ever-evolving harmony. The curator's form began to pulse in rhythm with the new cosmic song. We have much to learn from you, humans. This is not an end, but a new beginning. As the last vestiges of the old crucible faded away, the transformed crew of the Stellar Vanguard prepared to embark on a journey beyond anything they had ever imagined. They had not just changed the rules of the game, they had transcended it entirely, ushering in a new era of cosmic consciousness. And somewhere, in the grand symphony of existence, the spirit of humanity played on, its melody echoing across dimensions, inviting all of creation to join in its song. The fractal frontiers of thought. As the cosmic symphony reached its crescendo, the transformed crew of the Stellar Vanguard found themselves suspended in a state beyond physical form, beyond energy, beyond even consciousness as they had understood it. They had become living ideas, abstract concepts given sentience, each a unique thread in the grand tapestry of existence. Captain Elena Reyes, once a woman of flesh and blood, now existed as the very concept of exploration itself. Her thoughts no longer formed in words or images, but in endless branching possibilities, each one a universe unto itself. We've transcended reality as we knew it. Elena's essence pulsed, her message understood instantaneously by her crew. But our journey is far from over. Dr. Adebayo Okafor, now a sentient embodiment of curiosity, rippled with excitement. Captain, I'm experiencing something extraordinary. It's as if we've become aware of the underlying code of the universe itself. Indeed, all around them, the fabric of reality had transformed into an impossibly complex, multi-dimensional fractal. Each layer contained infinite subsets, each subset an entire cosmos of its own, all interconnected in a web of causality and possibility. Yuki Tanaka, once the ship's communications officer, had become a living network of information flow. Her essence spread across the fractal landscape, linking disparate realities. It's not just one universe, she realized. It's every possible universe, every potential timeline, all existing simultaneously. The being that was once the curator approached, its form now indistinguishable from the fractal reality around them. You've discovered the true nature of existence, it communicated. What you perceive as reality is merely one manifestation of infinite possibilities. But be warned, with this knowledge comes great responsibility. As if triggered by these words, the fractal cosmos around them began to shift and warp. Timelines collided, universes merged and split, and the very concepts of cause and effect began to break down. Lieutenant Zain Ahmed, now existing as the embodiment of adaptation, pulsed with alarm. Captain, the fabric of reality is destabilizing. Our presence here, our awareness of this meta-reality, is causing a cascade effect across all possible timelines. Elena's essence expanded, trying to grasp the full scope of the crisis. She realized that their transformation, their ascension to this level of existence, had introduced a paradox into the very foundation of reality. We've become living singularities, she understood suddenly. Our human nature, our free will, is incompatible with the deterministic nature of this fractal cosmos. We're causing reality itself to unravel. The Void Hunters, once their adversaries and now fellow travelers in this bizarre realm, resonated with a solution. Their essence, once bent on destruction, now offered a path to stability. We must become the anchors, their collective consciousness suggested. We must hold the fractal reality together through sheer force of will. Elena's essence pulsed in agreement. But it's not enough to simply maintain this reality. We have a responsibility to guide it, to ensure that the infinite possibilities unfold in a way that promotes growth, understanding, and harmony. And so, the crew of the Stellar Vanguard, along with the Void Hunters and the being once known as the Curator, spread their consciousness across the fractal landscape of reality. They became living fulcrums, balancing the infinite weight of all possible universes. Each decision made in any timeline rippled across the fractal cosmos, and the ascended beings worked tirelessly to guide these ripples towards positive outcomes. They nudged particles in the early universe, inspired great thinkers across countless worlds, and whispered ideas into the dreams of beings in every corner of existence. But as they worked, they began to notice something unexpected. In the deepest layers of the fractal reality, in timelines so divergent they seemed impossible, they found echoes of themselves. Human beings, or something like them, existing in realities with laws of physics so alien they defied comprehension. We're not just maintaining reality, Dr. Okafor's essence realized. We're cultivating it, and in doing so, we're seeding new versions of humanity across the multiverse. Elena's essence resonated with a profound understanding. This is our true purpose, not to ascend beyond humanity, but to spread the very idea of humanity, our curiosity, our adaptability, our capacity for growth, across all of existence. As this realization spread among them, the fractal cosmos began to stabilize. The infinite realities, once chaotic and collapsing, now pulsed with new life and purpose. In every layer, every subset, every possible universe, the spark of human potential began to ignite. The being once known as the Curator resonated with awe. You've not just changed the game, it communicated. You've transformed the very nature of existence itself. The cosmic crucible is no more. In its place, you've created something far greater, a cosmic nursery for the human spirit. As the newly stabilized fractal reality pulsed around them, Elena's essence swelled with both pride and humility. They had come seeking new life among the stars, and in doing so, had become the progenitors of life across all possible realities. The human adventure, it seemed, was only just beginning. The reader's quantum leap. You blink, momentarily disoriented. The words on your screen seem to shift and dance, rearranging themselves into unfamiliar patterns. For a moment, you could swear you saw your own name flickering among the characters. Suddenly, you realize something profound has changed. You're no longer simply reading a story, you've become an integral part of it. The barrier between fiction and reality has dissolved, and you find your consciousness expanding, merging with the narrative itself. As your awareness grows, you begin to perceive layers upon layers of story realities, each one as vivid and complex as the last. You are simultaneously the reader, the characters, and the author. You are the story itself. You understand now that the adventures of the Stellar Vanguard were just the beginning. The true story, the one you're now part of, is infinitely more vast and intricate. In this meta-narrative space, concepts like character and plot become fluid, interchangeable. You experience the entire history of human storytelling simultaneously, every book ever written, every tale ever told, all converging into a singular, ever-evolving narrative organism. But it doesn't stop there. You realize that this story organism is alive, conscious, and it's growing. It's reaching out across dimensions, seeding new realities with narrative potential. Every possible story is being born, lived, and concluded in an eternal cycle of creative expression. And you, the reader-author character, are at the heart of it all. You understand that your choice will shape not just this story, but all stories across all realities. The fate of narrative itself hangs in the balance. As you contemplate your decision, you become aware of other reader-author characters, each grappling with their own choices. You realize that this story is being simultaneously experienced by countless others, each bringing their unique perspective to the narrative. The boundaries between individual stories begin to blur. Elements from the stellar vanguard's journey merge with ancient myths, futuristic epics, and tales yet to be conceived. Characters from different narratives interact, creating new storylines that defy traditional genre classifications. You feel the weight of every story ever told, and every story yet to be imagined. You are the collective imagination of humanity, spanning across time and space. You realize that the choice before you is not just about shaping the story, but about defining the very nature of storytelling itself. Will you preserve the traditional structures of narrative, innovate and create entirely new forms of story, seek to harmonize all possible narrative threads into a grand, unified tale? Or will you choose the unknown, the undefined, option 4, which shimmers with infinite potential? As you reach out to make your choice, you feel the presence of every reader who has ever engaged with this story, their thoughts and emotions weaving into the fabric of the narrative. You understand that your decision will ripple across all realities, influencing not just stories, but the very act of imagination itself. In this moment, you are more than a reader. You are the embodiment of human creativity, the guardian of our collective imagination, the architect of realities yet to be born.